So I'll do a video, obviously, and I'll, explain something I've gone through, how I've dealt with it, and if, it resonates with someone and they can take something from it, then great. If it can help one person. But I recently went through an assessment, and I've had them a couple of times. But like I was sat there and I was thinking earlier on, like how I used to deal with it to how I dealt with it this time. And obviously, like over the years and like the work and like the growth and stuff like that, working on my anxiety and working on myself and how I deal with things. And yeah, so anyway, I had like a letter through, and it was like, or was it a text through, and it was like, your phone calls at this date, this time. And sometimes I wish that they'd just be like, right, you've got a phone call tomorrow. Because, it's so much easier. You don't have to, like, wait around. But anyway, so then that, like, that little inner critic, that little voice, it pops in. It's like, what if you don't say everything that you need to say? What if, you miss things out and blah, blah, blah. All these little what if, like, you try and come up with the worst case scenario, like, and so I sat with myself for a minute and I was just like, but believe in yourself. You're not the same person you used to be. Just have faith that you're going to say what you need to say, and that's something for future you to worry about. You don't have to worry about that right now. You're not having this, phone call right now. So it helped me. And then it came round to the phone call, had the phone call, and then it was like afterwards, so that was a new set of worries that like popped in. And what if I didn't say everything that like I needed to say, and like like all these, like, what if it doesn't go how I want it to go, like what if, and so then obviously again I sat with myself, and it was like, if it doesn't go how you want it to go, everything's always working out for you. So something that is meant for you is going to come in, and I just like, it calmed me down, just sat with myself, and the rational like voice, like your higher self, it like comes in and it's like, it's going to be okay. You'll get, you go through it, you'll work it out, like you figure it out type of thing. So, calm me down. And it did like creep up every now and then. Like, whereas in the past it used to like consume me every week and moment. It would be like all the time. I'd just be constantly like thinking about it. I'd replay the conversation over in my head over and over. I'd dissect it. I'd overanalyze it. Whereas now it'd be like, right, the thoughts popped in, like answer it, and then let it go. So then it'd creep in another time. So I'd sit with myself again, that like high voice would, like I seen someone called it like the inner coach and the inner critic as well. So that was a good one. So like, yeah, so that'd be like, it calms it down. No matter what, everything's always working out for you. And I truly believe that. So I keep that thought in my head. But then I found each time the thought popped in my head, it would be less and less of a worry for me. So like, I didn't, and then like eventually it'd be like the thought popped in my head and I just felt calm, and it was like, well, it's fine, no matter what, you're gonna be fine. And then again, like, because it's like that intrusive thing, like if they'll pop in, and like your ego, your inner critic, it's your defense, it's your protector. So it's like that wants to come up with the worst case scenarios, yeah, but we need to be like prepared for if it's not. Do you know what I mean? And like I see in this video, and it said like, every time like we go through something, like, or like, we've got something coming, we'll always go through the worst case scenario to prepare ourselves. And they said, well, what, like, why don't you change it up and go through the best case scenario instead? Like think like of how it could actually be totally amazing, and like all the good things that could come from it. Because no matter what, it's, instead of spending all that time coming up to it worrying, you could be excited, or you could be, like relieved, calm, like different things apart from worried. But I'm not saying it's easy, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, go on, I'll go and do that now. But it's like having that little thought, and it's like, you know, it creeps in, and then like you try it, and then you try it again, like I did with, you know, when that thought kept on popping in, it was like, it's going to work out for me, it'll be absolutely fine. And then eventually, when that thought crept in, I was fine. Like, I just felt calm. I was like, well, it's going to be fine. And, you know, I just thought that was amazing because, like if the last one that I had, you know, I'd feel sick. I'd be like, oh, you know, I just want it over. Like, well, obviously you want it over and done with anyway. But, like, it just made me ill with worry. And, you know, sometimes with my anxiety, I would get sick and stuff. So it was just, yeah, like, just sit with yourself for a couple of minutes, go inward and just speak, you know, calm that inner critic down, calm your ego down, and just be like, you know, but what if it went this way? You know, you're spending all this time worrying and then it works out for you. So that was a waste. You just spent that whole week worrying over nothing. Like, can you remember anything out of them weeks or out of them days apart from worrying? So yeah, it's just something to think about. You know, someone's got something coming up. Maybe have a little try. Sit with yourself. Well, thanks for listening.